Hello everybody. Hey folks. How's it going? I've got my quilt up on the wall. The design wall is pretty much made. There's one panel left to do, but I want to film making it. So I haven't finished it, and then the walls need to be mounted, or the panels need to be mounted on the wall. But they are up. I can use them. They're already accumulating threads from being used. So we're in it now. Hello, my name is Cheryl Larkison. You are here on the Quilters Playcation Adventure Sewalong 2024 edition. This is the rainbow edition, in case you couldn't tell. I have two versions going on, this lovely pastel grunge one, and then another monochromatic with a secondary weird rainbow, but I haven't been able to work on that one, play on that one for a little while. So hopefully in the coming week I can catch up on my blocks there. But we are here today for week 42 of the Adventure Sewalong. I made it here by the skin of my teeth. It's been an insane few days, 3, 4, 5 days. Can't remember the last time I've actually just kind of sat and relaxed, because it's just been a lot of busyness going on. Yeah, and then as soon as I finish this, I have to sign some checks and head to the airport. We are picking up a German girl. We're billeting another pentathlete. She's gonna train with my daughter, and she's gonna stay at our house. So we have been getting ready for her. We're so not ready for her. The bathroom is, deep breaths. That's what I just keep telling myself. Just take the deep breaths and then come here and play together. So that's what we're gonna do. We are filling this spot. I will admit that as of 10 minutes ago, I had no idea what I was gonna put in that spot. I'm usually a little bit more organized than that. So I pulled out the scraps, got inspired, and let's get to playing. So I'm going to walk you over to the other side of the room, or walk with me, let's say. It's fun on the design wall there. Walk with me over here, and then we will turn things around. See, I came from over there. Now I'm here. I'm going to turn you around, and we're going to get to it. All right, folks, let's do it. Block 42. There we go, blank wall. It's so weird not to have my ladies there. They're over there. So they are here with us. There we go. So I literally just grabbed a handful of scraps from the bin and have been kind of playing with them. And what I have done to start is make some strip sets, and I'm not quite finished. I just wanted to get started on it because it's a lot of starting and stopping with this. So in my case, and I'm doing all the kind of like wonky angles and weird stuff. So I've got one that's wider and one that's narrower because that's just how I started. What I would aim for is, we're going to have 3 overall. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this one into 2. So you can see that I'm not putting them in rainbow order, although you certainly could. But I'm just kind of grabbing and going. So I just want to check that that one is going to be long enough. Yep, more than long enough. So I'm going to set that one aside for the moment, and we'll finish up this one. So I'm just kind of going through my scrap piles here and saying, okay, what color do I need more of? I need some pink, I need another yellow. So, oh, I haven't added purple to this yet, so let's add some purple. Right, I can go ahead and add a purple there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just adding pieces on. I'll just do another pair because I have the fabric here. Right, that's one way to make it more efficient, is to just sew a bunch of pairs together. as opposed to the starting and stopping of one thing at a time, one piece at a time. You can just sew pairs to pairs to pairs and see where that goes. So I'm going to add this one because I think it's the leftovers from that piece, and I've got the rest of it there. Why not? Sew it on, add it on. It brings me more yellow. All right, there was that pair I had there. I think I'll add another bit of purple to it. I have almost like a whole strip of purple. Don't know why I have so much purple left over, but we'll use it. And then this will probably be more than enough because that's such a big piece of purple. I won't use the whole bit, obviously. Like I won't use all of that purple. I'll probably just trim it a little bit. So I hope all of you have been well. As I said, it's been rather chaotic in our lives, just with kids' activities and trying to get this reno done. And then I was actually teaching on the weekend, 2-day virtual workshop here in the studio, which went well. There's definitely some adaptations I would make the next time, but nothing insurmountable. I had a good laugh because my husband, he's one of those guys that if he had actually succeeded in becoming an engineer, would have been the guy who over-designed things. So I came home and he was asking me how it went, and I said, oh, it was great, but you know, I've got to change the layout of my room a little bit just to make sure it works for that. And to me, that meant moving a piece of furniture. That's all. Just simple fix, move a piece of furniture. And he suddenly started on about, well, do you need a track system? We could work up a track system for your camera and all this. And I was like, dude, chill. Like, you're going a little over the top there. So, okay, I am good with this strip now. I have all the colors represented. It is long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear away all these scraps that I was using because, well, I don't need them now. I got what I wanted out of the other stuff, so let's just get them out of the way. But always good to go into the scrap bin and use them up. And then I have long strips. So my plan is to turn these little scrappy bits into strips, and then we're going to intersperse them with strips of our rainbow. Pretty straightforward. We haven't done a block exactly like this, and we're going to go for it. I just had another thought, but I've changed my mind. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to cut these first. They can be any width, but I know that I need 10.5 inches because that's the height of my block. So I'm going to get, and I'm looking on both sides. I can get 1 1/4 out of this. So it's just going to be a little skinny strip in there. It's going to work. I think it'll work just fine. There we go. Okay, so there's one nicely trimmed strip. Now I want to get 2 out of this one. So I'm just at 10.5 inches length. So I'm just going to clean up one side. Well, I guess it was 2 sides, 1 corner. And then I'm going to see where I'm at. I can do 3 1/8, 3 1/4, not quite 3 1/4. We'll go 3 1/8. So I'm going to maximize what I can use. Alrighty, so I could just go with 2 strips if I wanted. I think I like Oh, I was going to say, I think I like the repetition of 3, but I've used 3 times in this quilt, so maybe I will just go with 2. I think I'll stick with 2. I'm not going to trim that one down. We'll go with that. So now I need strips of my other one. Now you can go ahead and cut these strips to the exact length that you want. I'm just going to eyeball it so that I don't have to worry about precisely piecing that much. Some are going to be skinnier than others. I just was cutting off the edges of my bolts. So I've got kind of weird edges like that, but I'll just trim those down. And it's become very clear to me, speaking of my bigger pieces, that I'm going to have a fair amount left of my big pieces, which is no big deal. I will certainly use them. So that's yellow. Yeah, I'll certainly use them. It's just whether and I am cutting these pieces straight, but I'm not, like, I'm measuring so that it's straight, not measuring for a specific size. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the pieces that I have off the big pieces, they're just going to go on the back. I'll make a rainbow on the back, however it can happen. So I want some variety in these, in the width of these. I'm cutting them just a little bit longer, and I can deal with the length afterwards. And then I'll have to decide, do I want to do I want them in order? So it might be kind of nice to have the rainbow order in these bigger ones. And then, like in the long strips of the single color, to have those in rainbow order with the scrappy fun kind of going on. So haven't decided yet, but we will. And I may have to, now that I'm realizing it, cut some different strips, because am I going to have enough? I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. So how have the rest of you been? Have you been having a good week? Hopefully it's been a little bit quieter than mine. Yeah, okay. So there we have it. All of our strips. So let's just get our strips in rainbow order to start and see what happens. And then insert the other strip, the scrap strips in there, right? That makes a decent enough block, but let's play around. I'm gonna put, no, because that's big, so let's go like this. The green one disappeared under there now. And do we do another 2 and then like that? Right, so we have the rainbow order, or do I want to change things up actually? I'm gonna switch directions that too. Right, and have it just be with the 3 on the end and that there. Oh, it's raining in Florida. Oh, the guilds I mean, rain is always nice. It snowed here last night, in case you want to feel better about your rain. It snowed here last night, but it is sunny and warmer today, so it's melting. But first snowfall of the year, that's for sure, out there. I'm gonna go back to the rain, but I'm still trying to think, do I want it like that, or do I want to go back to, sorry, this idea? It could be either or. It could be either or. We'll see. I'll stick with this. I think I'll go with this because these are a little too close, right? The scrappy strips are just a little too close together. Although that kind of makes it a little bit off center, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Let's go around a little bit more. And switch sides and see if that makes a difference. Nope, because there's a lot of the yellow and orange in this piece, so I liked it over here. And there's that big piece of blue, so I liked it over there. So we're going to go back to this idea. Yep, I think we'll stick. I don't know, I'm so indecisive today. The brain's just a little much. I think I'm gonna go with that. I think I like it better with these three all together at the end. Yep, we're gonna go with that. Okay, so I'm gonna just start sewing these strips together. Pretty straightforward. I'll leave it on the pretty stuff instead of watching me sew straight seams because that's awfully boring. But I said I was going to go back to rain. So I was teaching on the weekend with a guild that's based out of British Columbia, the Whistler Valley Guild. So a lot of the quilters were kind of in the Vancouver to Whistler area, the Sea to Sky Highway in Whistler itself or some of the surrounding communities, plus a few places in BC. And I'm going to sew these, sorry, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to sew these in pairs. Hi, Barb. I see you popped on. Anyway, so while we were sewing, they were like, oh, this is a great weekend. We're having a massive rainstorm, like one of those atmospheric river events. It's like, oh, wow. Like, that's not stuff we get out here. Anyways, so we're chatting and then, you know, you chit chat during the class and we're going through the class and one person starts apologizing. She's like, I'm so distracted. There's some neighborhood drama. And we're like, oh, and I'm like thinking, you know, that means there's an ambulance outside or something. And she says, no, you know, that little waterfall by my house. And everybody, you know, knew what she was talking about. I didn't, but anyway, she said, you know, the little waterfall. Well, now there's two, and the second one is very brown and moving fast. So they were in danger of flooding or landslide. And she got essentially trapped at home. She was supposed to go out that afternoon and wasn't able to. Thankfully, the last I heard, everything was fine with her place. But there was such devastating, catastrophic flooding in that whole area, which is not normal. I mean, it is the wet coast, but it's not normal to have all of that. And unfortunately, a few people have passed away in tragedies from it. So, yeah, the rain is not good. And we look what happened in North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. Like, the weather is scary. Scary, scary stuff. Okay. Done the first round of sewing. I'm going to press all of my strips in the same direction. So either all to the right or all to the left. It really doesn't matter. You might want to, on the scrap strip, press out from it regardless of what your overall pressing direction is. It's just because you're going to have a lot of bulk with those seam allowances, so it's easier to just press out there. So that is what I am going to do. I'll just help everything lay little bit nicer. And then we do the next round, and I just find this is an easier way to, you know, I'm always looking for a way to chain piece, basically. Let's be honest. So now, so those two together and these two, and then the last seam. Chain piecing is just, you know, more efficient. Look at that. So it goes together fairly quickly once you make those little scrap strips. So see you later, Barb. Barb said hi, and then now she's got to go cook supper. That's fair enough. She's on a different time zone, so things are different. That time zone thing. Well, same with you Florida folks would be on that different time zone there too. Really good friends of ours moved to Newfoundland. So that's a 3.5 hour time difference. And my son is always, you know, online playing games. Okay. Now, here's something that we should have talked about earlier. Again, my scattered brain did not do this. Am I going to be wide enough? Let us see. Oh, I'm not. Right? I am right now as it's laying out, but I'm going to sew it together, which means I'm losing a 1/2 inch. So I have a couple of options at this point. I can remove any one of these strips and make them bigger. The easiest option is obviously removing the pink strip and adding it and making it bigger. But I think what I'm going to do is actually make this green strip a little bit bigger. And because we're doing improv work and it's me, I'm not seam ripping this. This is just a scrap strip. It doesn't matter what size it is. So I'm actually just going to cut that out. Take note of how big this green strip was, which was 1.5 inches. I'm going to make sure I get one that's, you know, because I cut more out. Let's give it, I don't know, 1.5 inches. Let's give myself an extra inch. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip out of here. Just so I have some wiggle room. And now I'll have a wide one in the middle, which will kind of change up the look, right? So we're just going to sew a bigger strip in and then go from there. So slight delay, but with this improv work, there's always a pretty easy fix. No reason to get worked up or stressed. But if you want to avoid having to do that, you know, once you have them in pairs, maybe giving them a check. You could always do math if you felt like it. But I'm doing improv work. I don't feel like math. Plus, you know, as I said, my brain's just fried these days. Alrighty. So now, yeah, that works. That still works. So I'm going to sew these together. Just that last seam. Alrighty, I'll give it a press. I haven't showed you the pressing today because frankly there's nothing terribly exciting about the pressing today. We're just pressing the seams to one side or the other. I'm just trying to manage my bulk when I do that, so I'm pressing away from the scrappy pieced strips in the center. This actually is giving me an idea for another block, but I don't know if it'll fit with the rest of the quilts. I can't believe, there we go, there's our block. I can't believe we're down to the last row after this. How are we there already? Right? How are we there already? Just craziness. Okay, now we can press or cut this. So I know that my scrap strips are basically the height that I want. So I'm making sure at the top of the ruler. Now that I think about it, I would probably give yourself parallel lines, but let these be a little bit taller, just like the rest of them are. And then you don't have to worry so much about lining up like I am doing here. So I'm good there. I'm good at the bottom. Hold my ruler still, trim off these little bits, flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. I just don't want that to slide. So I am trimming off a bit, you know, about a ½ inch off my purple and these little bits on the end, but not, yeah, my biggest waste was this piece that I cut wrong or wasn't big enough, but there we go. There is week 42. I think she looks pretty good. Let's see what she looks like with the rest of the quilts. We'll raise you up. We will say goodbye to the ladies. You're going to need to go there. I'll flip you around now. Hi. Like my cozy little sitting area. I had it facing the rest of the room, but that's the view of the rest of the room, which isn't very exciting right now. And my son doing homework and schoolwork in the morning. So I turned him to face the bookshelf in the window. Even if it does look a little bit weird that the backs of the chairs are to the room. I'm just going to drop you down. Okay, let's put it on. See how she looks. What do we think? Yeah, I think that was a good choice to have a little bit of scrappiness there at the end. An easy block, because that's what my mind needed, was an easy block today. And there we have week 42. I'm just going to pull you back even more so you can see the whole, the whole quilt so far. That is 6 rows. We just have that last row on the bottom to add to this. Take us to the end of 2024, which is wild to think about. Absolutely wild. But we're doing it. We've been having fun together. We've been playing together. You've been joining me. I've been joining you. It's all been just wonderful. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm going to sign off now. Do 20 minutes more of work. And then I'm going to go to the airport and pick up a German athlete who's never been to Canada before. Is very excited, according to her mother. She said her mother has said that she would emigrate to Canada if she could. And so we'll do our best to show her a good time. So just before I go off, Surprised by Color asked how my black and white one is going. It's not at the moment. Just with the studio move, I haven't been able to work on any of the blocks. It always seems to be chaotic these last few weeks when I'm coming on here. So I'm hoping this week to catch up on all of the blocks. I think I got these 2 blocks done, And then I'll have to do the remaining 5 that I've been missing. So hopefully for some sewing time this week, we'll see it. And then maybe next week you can see that version when we go forward. But thank you, everybody. Have an excellent week. Remember to share your projects on Instagram with the hashtags Quilters Playcation, QP Adventure Sewalong, or QP Adventure Sewalong 2024. Feel free to search the hashtags. Instagram is always changing how they show up for me, but you can find stuff there. So have an excellent time. Take care, everybody. Thanks for playing with me. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.